A good job can still be the wrong move. That is one of the most expensive mistakes I see senior leaders make. And the title looks right, the compensation looks right, the company looks credible, and everyone around you says, hey, that sounds like a great opportunity. But 6 months later, you realize the scope is wrong. The authority is thin. The culture is not a fit, or the role doesn't even actually strengthen your long-term career story. So before you take that next executive job, I want you to ask 5 questions. Hi, I'm Neil Schultz with Career Upgrader, and I help directors, VPs, and senior leaders navigate high-stakes career moves with more clarity, stronger positioning, and better decision making. And this video isn't really about whether you should make a move, but it is about whether the move in front of you is actually the right move. Because at the senior level, movement alone is not the win. Strategic fit is. So here's the trap. When you're early in your career, a better job often means a better title, better compensation, better company name. But at the senior level, those signals are not enough anymore. And a role can give you a bigger title and still reduce your actual influence. So a role can give you more money and still create costly family trade-offs. A role can look impressive on LinkedIn and still put you in a political environment where you can't lead well. And a role can feel urgent because you're tired of the search and you're tired of uncertainty, you're tired of being undervalued, but urgency does not equal alignment. And that is why clarity comes first. Not after you've fixed your resume, not after you've prepared for interviews, and certainly not after networking. First, because if your target is fuzzy, your positioning will be fuzzy. Your outreach will be fuzzy. Your interviews will be reactive. Your negotiation is going to be weaker. So here's the filter that I would use before pursuing or interviewing for or accepting a senior level role. Question 1. What scope do I actually want? Not just title, scope. Are you leading a function, a region, a transformation, a business unit, a turnaround, a growth initiative, or even a team that's already mature? Well, a title without the right scope can become a trap. You need to know what kind of business problem you want to own. Question 2. What seat gives me real authority? Senior leaders often get frustrated when they accept responsibility without enough authority. So ask, who do I report to? Who controls the budget? Who owns the final decision? What influence will I actually have? Am I being hired to lead, or am I being hired to absorb pressure without the power? That difference matters. Question 3. What environment lets me lead well? Some leaders thrive in high growth ambiguity. Some are better in operational stabilization, and some are strongest in enterprise complexity. Some are built for founder led companies, and some are better in public companies, private equity backed environments, some in nonprofits, healthcare, technology, finance, or even manufacturing. The point is not which environment is best. The point is which environment fits your strengths, your values, your faith, your leadership style, and your season of life. Question 4. What trade-offs are expensive for my family? That's the question many leaders avoid because they're used to carrying the burden quietly. But the wrong commute, or the wrong location, or the wrong travel expectations, the wrong stress patterns, or calendar demand can cost more than the raise is worth. Now, don't get me wrong, compensation matters, especially in an economy like ours, but so does the life that compensation requires you to live. Question 5. What role makes my story stronger next? The right next move should not only solve today's problem, it should strengthen the story that you're building. Will this role make your leadership narrative clearer? Will it expand your credibility? Will it position you for the kind of work you want 3 to 5 years from now? Or will it create a confusing detour that you'll have to explain later? Those are different moves. So a lot of senior leaders pursue roles really because they're plausible. Hey, I could do this. I've done something similar in my past. They would probably take me seriously. This would be better than where I am now. That's not enough. The better question is this aligned? Aligned means the role fits your strengths, your desired scope, your authority needs, your family season, your compensation goals, and your long-term leadership story. You don't need to chase every plausible option. You need fewer, better moves. So once you know the right seed, your market message changes, doesn't it? Instead of saying, I'm open to new opportunities, you could say something a lot sharper. Something like, I'm focused on roles where I can lead enterprise transformation, build stronger operating discipline, and help a growth stage company move from founder dependency to scalable leadership. Or, I'm looking for a senior operations role where I can lead complex teams, improve execution, and build systems that support profitable growth. That is a different message than open to work, seeking new opportunities. It doesn't sound desperate, and it doesn't sound negative. It sounds very directed. And that is what clarity does. It turns availability into authority. So before you chase the next role, ask the 5 questions. What scope do I actually want? What seat gives me real authority? What environment lets me lead well? What trade-offs are expensive for my family? And what role makes my story stronger next? So if your next move carries meaningful financial, professional, or family implications, don't navigate it with generic job search advice. At Career Upgrader, we help senior leaders clarify the right move, sharpen executive positioning, and prepare for high-stakes conversations, evaluate opportunities wisely, and negotiate from a stronger position. If you want help thinking through your next move at that level, request a private strategy conversation using the link in the descriptions. Clarify the move before you chase it. Thanks.